Welcome to Silverstone. This is the Silverstone Festival and I am here to represent this fat catalogue of the iconic and classic sales, 3 days worth of auctions taking place inside here, the wing at the Silverstone Festival. It's going to be loud out here, but it's going to be bright and fantastic in there. There are, like I say, 3 days of lots, Friday the 22nd, Saturday the 23rd and Sunday the 24th. If you're not here in person, you can still register and you can bid and you can watch all the live stream auction action. There's loads to get through. The catalogue is extremely fat and I am eager. So let's go inside. I'm Johnny Smith, you're watching The Late Break Show. So, as I said, this is 3 days of auctions in 3 different halls here at the wing of Silverstone and including a big chunk of space outside down there. If you remember that now Classic Car Auctions, CSA, is part of the Iconic Auctioneers family, and there's a specific Iconic Auctions lot preview that's already gone out by my friend Harry Metcalf. So have a watch of that if you want to see his review. For me, I'm going to go that way. There's a big chunk that I've already looked at. And also, by the way, remember, you don't have to be here in the room at the Silverstone Festival, great though it is. You don't have to be here to buy. You can go online, watch the whole thing online, and just go to iconicauctioneers.com and register to bid. Okay, first one I want to chat about is this blue beauty here. This is lot number 694. 1973 Datsun 240Z. Now, the classic car market is really interesting for me at the moment because you've got a lot of cars that were really high in value and kind of peaked a little bit too quickly, like Jag E-types. We'll come on to those. And they seem to have tumbled, and it might be to do with the demographic, the type of person who's interested in the type of car. And if I knew where the market was going, obviously you can make a lot of money, but there's a lot of cars, I think, that were up here in value and they've come down significantly. I think this offers pretty cool value. It's estimated at 25 to 30 grand. This is a factory right-hand drive UK supplied car, okay? Clearly it's been restored because any Z that's been in the country for all that long will have needed to be restored. You can see the repaint is mostly very good. This door here, there's a few areas on this door which is a little bit blotchy, but I think it looks fantastic. It's also standard engine, 2.4 litre, 150 horsepower, but it's now got a 6-speed manual box, which is probably better for modern day traffic speeds, and it's got an electronic ignition conversion. It looks great in this blue, and of course, Wolf Race slot mags. One of the greatest wheel ever. Genuinely well made and British. We've seen a few of these, especially here at Classic Car Auctions, prepared by these guys, HRRCC. They just seem to be fanatical about R53, R56 Mini Coopers. They prepare them so well, and they're so affordable. I think as the Mini has got fatter and sort of less relevant, less Mini, these are just more and more appealing to me. I really would like an early 2000s, mid 2000s Cooper S. That's, what's that, 5 to 6 grand estimate? 4 to 6 grand, no reserve on that Mini, fantastic. But I want to talk about this. Lot 664. This is, I know I do these Audi Quattros, the UR Quattros a lot, but for me, this is the one. This is the one that I'd be particularly interested in. A lot of people go for the late 20 valve models and they're fetching the highest, or they have fetched the highest values. This is the other end of the scale in terms of era. 1982, right-hand drive, quad headlight, early Quattro. So this is perhaps, and this particular version is thought to be the first factory-built, factory right-hand drive Quattro. And the reason why I'm gritting my teeth is because I have been on the hunt for one of these quietly for at least 5 years, and I cannot buy this car. One of you has to buy this car. Seller rating is 80 out of 135 points, 2.1 litre, 197 horsepower. It says here, although 17 left-hand drive Quattros were converted to right-hand drive by David Sutton Audi in mid-1981, many of these have now been restored. The vendor of this car believes this example was the first factory-built right-hand drive car. Hashtag 85 CA chassis. If that's the case, in Larza green as well, I love the fact it's not red. Love the fact it's not red with those iconic quad headlights. If that's the case, this thing is seriously, seriously rare. To restore one of these is hard. The parts are hard to find. Audi doesn't really support massively, which surprises me that Heritage Audi wouldn't have more parts available. So to buy one that's done, or an amazing survivor car, is the way forward in my view. This is estimated 30 to 40 grand. And it's done 99,500 miles. I am chomping on the bit. First registered the 10th of September 1982. Now this has got leather with a diagonal kind of finish. I prefer cloth myself, but the cloth is notoriously bad at wearing. I think this car is absolutely spectacular. Clearly had a repaint, and on certain edges could do with either a bit more paint correction with a little bit of orange peel, but by Jove, you know, if this car was flawless condition, it would be 60, possibly 70, don't know. Well, the bulk of the CCA auction lots are actually outside. Suddenly the track's gone quiet, which we've been told wasn't going to happen all day. So I'm going to dive outside to try and get the maximum amount of time with the cars with the least amount of deafening car noise. Right, lot 623. This is a brown, yes, I love brown cars. This is a brown 1978 Porsche 911 SC Targa manual right-hand drive UK car. Now it looks like a barn find. I think it's a garage find. That's how it's been described here. And it's a two-owner car from long-term storage. It's injected with a Bosch K-Jetronic, and it's been with a vendor since 1979. So they bought it when it was a year old. So it's been described as needing some recommissioning. It has got some age-related spots of corrosion, which I'll have a look at. I can see a little bit going on the wing tops here. There's some scratches from what looks like animals, usually cats and things, in the garage. It's obviously an impact bumper era car, but yeah, and it's a bit scraggy on the bolster here. Carpets are a bit skanky, but hey, look, what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with a car which has a 20 to 30 grand estimate. The days of 911s, air-cooled 911s, right-hand drive ones, being ridiculous, they've started to finally come down. Obviously, the GT cars are still high. I like Targas. I really do like Targas. I don't mind a slightly, honestly, tatty car, but it does need a little bit of engine recommissioning. Apparently, a number of cylinder head bolts have been snapped. The exhaust heat exchangers are original, but they do need replacing. So unless the engine needs rebuilding, which they say it doesn't, it's done 78,000 miles, I'd be interested to see where this is going to go. Most of that will clean up really well. I like this. Always forget how much I love the fonts of cars. There's a Lotus in there in the iconic auction. I must show you it briefly. The fonts and the wheels are amazing. The font on this SC is just delightful. There we go. Mocha brown Targa. To me, it's really, really weird how so many people buy brand new supercars these days and think they're being exclusive, but actually modern supercars are largely mass produced. Years ago, supercars were genuinely few and far between. Take this, right? So lot 683. It's a 360 Spider, great looking car. I think it's aged really well, but 3-pedal, right-hand drive, manual gearbox car, okay? This is only one of 478 cars that were sold with the manual gearbox, making it actually quite scarce. And it's done some miles too, which I think is a good thing. 69,000 miles this thing's done. So it's a 2002, and they launched the 360, I think, in 99. This car is ranking 54 out of 135, which is kind of low. It's spent many years off the road, part of a private collection, but in professional storage. The buyer must factor in some cosmetic work required. See, I like this sort of car. I'm always drawn to it. A bit like that tatty Targa that I've just gone past. The vendor will ensure the car is issued with a fresh MOT prior to the sale. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. See, to me, and I haven't delved into the engine bay, although it is visible, This actually doesn't look as tatty as they're making it out to be. It looks to have had new discs. You can see the discs are brand spanking. But I don't know what else is going on with it. Even the paint doesn't look particularly bad from what I can see. So 45 to 50 grand, possibly less. But it's a manual. It's interesting to drive. And it's at the affordable end of the Ferrari spectrum. And it's right-hand drive. 711, which is pretty apt given that this is one of those classic cars you could just use 711. 365 days of the week. That is a dirty engine note. This is the Mercedes W126, so the best era of build quality, probably in my head, the best S Class. And this is a 500 SE, which means it's the 5-litre V8. That's back when numbers made sense of the drivetrain. And I really like these. This particular car has been subjected to a 440-hour recommissioning in 2020. And it's estimated 8 to 12 grand. A lot of people say to me, I'd like a classic, but I want one that I can get in and I can use, and it's warm, and it has good brakes, and I can do motorway speeds happily, and it looks cool. And I often end up saying, you want a Merc of this era, either E-Class, 190E, or if you can afford it, S-Class. Standard wheelbase being the SE. Yeah, the rear windows always delaminate. I don't know why on the heated rear glass, but at the time, this was the safest car that they ever made, and I won't bore you with all the blurb. First car with an airbag and traction control and all sorts. These are wonderful. And also, they're still affordable. This one has had over 15 grand spent on it in the last 5 years, and it's hardly done any miles in that time. So it could be hot to trot. And if you can get it for 12 or under 12, that's really good. Lot 711. I think what I'm going to do now is grab the keys from CCA of each car I want to talk about, and I'll sit in them and chat, just because it's getting a bit loud out here. And I want you to hear me. Not that I'm interesting. This one, lot 614. Mark 1 Ford Fiesta Fly. Convertible. Converted by Crayford. You've probably heard of Crayford, British coach builder from the sort of 50s, 60s, 70s. So here we are in the Mark 1 Fiesta Fly convertible. The roof is in excellent condition, actually. Crayford did a number of cars, but a lot of Fords. It was mostly Fords. What's amazing me about this is it's got real wood on the dashboard, which a lot of Fords didn't have. They like to go on the fake wood. Of course, the Mark 1 Fiestas, I think, is aged really, really well. There's an XR2 in there, which I'll come to, and that car's worth a lot of money. But if you look at this lot here, 614, estimated 8 to 10,000 pounds, which is not a lot for a Mark 1 Fiesta, given that it's done 27,000 miles from new. And it was, I think, ex-Channel Islands car, hence probably the low mileage. Finished in diamond white, and it looks in very, very good condition. The Crayford Convertible Club reckon they only ever did 91 conversions of this, which makes it a really rare early Ford. You know what the Ford people are like, they love a bit of rarity, and this has got to be up there. This probably will not be, and you can see the exposed bows and everything, not the quality of a German convertible, like something like a Carmen Beetle convertible. That's the first thing that pops into my head, or a Golf GTi. But it's unusual. People like unusual. And I think if you're driving it slowly, it probably doesn't matter. Yeah. Lots of history, huge history folder on this car as well. And the current vendors had it for 11 years, and they've done 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, about 3,000 miles in it in that time. But I think it's just really interesting. There's also another strange little convertible 80s car over there that I wanted to show you. Cavalier Cabriolet. Come on in. I've never sat in a Cavalier convertible in my life. Now, I know fast Fords get all the column inches and all the limelight in a lot of these auctions, and they do command more money. But I do find myself looking at 80s Vauxhalls more and more. I do love the Mark II Cav. It was a great car for its time. But this one's a bit quirky. This one's a little bit white gold, if you know the TV series. This is a 1.8 convertible, 1986, lot 603. And again, like that Fiesta Crayford, this was converted by a coach builder, it wasn't actually done by Crayford. This was done by Hammond and Theed. And you can see again the external hinges and things at the back, which compared to German coach builders, I think looks a bit clunky, but it's very of its time. This looks in fantastic condition, I have to say. I love it. No reserve at 5 to 7 grand. Remember, that's not a lot of money for a car in pretty good condition. This one's done 60,000 miles and it was registered new in 1986 by J&G Bland Motors of Haverfordwest. And it cost 11,500 quid, which I think was quite a lot of money back then. Now, I don't know if this is your bag, but I thought I would pair this with the Fiesta, given that the Fiesta's probably going to go for double the money, potentially. Is it double the car? I don't know, I think now's a good time to buy retro Vauxhalls, and they genuinely are much rarer than the Ford equivalent most of the time. I have been in loads of these growing up, and an adjustable steering column back then was a big deal. It's just, I know it seems bizarre, but it was a big deal then. Yeah, I do love a Mark II Cav. Right, it's V10 time. M5 Touring E61. I've got the key, we're going in. So unless you've been living under a rock for the last 25 years, you'll know that when BMW was doing Formula One and doing it well, they introduced a load of really interestingly engined road cars. And of course, during this era, Audi were doing interesting engines too, like V10s. And they put the V10 in the M6 and the M5. And then, of course, they built the estate, which they've only just started bringing the M model estate back with the recent M3 estate, which looks terrible. This looks good, even though at the time it was controversial with its bangle styling. But what have we got here? This is a 2007 M5, 507 horsepower. I forgot it was this many. I drove these when they were new. The sound is amazing. There's almost a folklore to these now. I've noticed a lot of younger people who probably weren't born when these came out are like, wow, it's a V10. And it is, looking back, a V10 engine estate family car is crackers. Only 222 built in right-hand drive. I did not know there was that few, actually. This has done 90,400 miles, and the thing to bear in mind about these is less really about the bodywork and more about the drivetrain, because the drivetrain is hideously expensive and isn't really shared with many other BMW models. But this car is being offered directly from a BMW employee who is also a keen enthusiast. It's benefited from extensive refurbishment and maintenance, including clutch and flywheel at 62,000 miles and an SMG service, because of course these did not come with the manual gearbox in the UK. It was SMG only, which is a bit of a slurry gearbox. I'm not a fan of it, but I have people, friends of mine, who own these cars and they say they're great to get on with eventually. It's also had a bare engine recondition at the cost of over 4 grand in November 2022. So those are the things which make, well, they put my mind at rest really. Yeah, this is estimated at 20 to 25 grand, but what an exotic car. What an interesting car. The mileage is good. And look at the dash. I mean, this is almost peak dash. A bit of sat-nav and things, but small screen, and still lots of physical buttons. It's just a bit more classy than the kind of interiors that we get now with just huge infotainment tablets. What a cool thing, hey? Silver grey metallic, black leather in here. I wonder if it'll sell for less than 20 grand. You might know a chap called Anstead. Used to be the mechanic on Wheeler Dealer, is now doing a new series called Born Mechanic, and he's doing up a house. Well, there's a couple of cars in this auction that are to do with the TV series. There's a Morris Minor over there, there's this, there's an Austin 7, and there's a BMW with nice Martini-esque stripes down there. Let's talk about this. Lot 654. All of these are no reserve for a start, but the first generation Capri here, it's a 1.6 GT XLR, and I really think it looks great. I mean, estimate 7 to 9,000 pounds is really low considering. These never seem to be worth as much as the Mark IIs and the Mark IIIs, and I don't understand why. I don't know whether it's a generational thing, but these were born in 69, and these are really, really good. So, signal, that's orange, which my colour blindness is properly working with me. It looks yellow to me. The body was solid in the first place, I've been assured. It's had the bumpers re-chromed, obviously been repainted with new wheels. These are the RS style 4 spokes. I don't think they're the genuine ones, I think they're the reproductions. But That's okay with me. New suspension arms and bushes fitted along with steering rack and steering coupling. I absolutely love the vinyl roof on these. You've got to watch out for rot underneath, but this one might have been redone. I can't quite tell. Interior has had the front seats retrimmed, but the rest of the interior has been left, and it actually matches really nicely. It's got the 6-dial dash, presumably because of it's got the XLR trim. I don't know the ins and outs of the XLR trim, but what I do know is that at the time they were obviously trying to make it look very American-esque. But interesting to see what this goes for, and the other lots. 653 is another one of note, 1990 BMW E30 325. And that again, 3 to 5 grand, no reserve. Lot 758, now this is so 80s. Mark III Capri, but crucially, with a bit of a body kit on it. With the decal in the back window that I used to see as kids. But the reason why this one really interests me, this has been the same ownership for 36 years. Wow. It's a 2.8 injection, which is the one that everybody wanted back in the day. Estimate 9 to 11,000 quid. It says it was repainted. It looks quite matte, or satin, I would say. So I don't know whether that repaint can be rescued with some, a machine polish or some paint correction. I actually quite like the decals. They're so of their time. The pinstripe with the decals, pepper pot alloys, like I say, with the deep bumpers here. There's a sticker in the back window which interests me. I often look for this, the Z-Bart badge, which is a rust protection course you could have put a car through, mostly in the 70s and the 80s. But if this has been Z-Barted, it might be extremely, extremely solid. It's been in the second owner since 1986, always dry stored. It's recently had new tyres, brakes, exhaust system, reconditioned steering rack, and a host of other things as well. But if you like 80s mods, and it's got the denim, not the denim, the tartan interior, look. I don't know, it's like, it's quite Del Boy, but I kind of like it. What goes against this particular car is the quality of the repaint, I would say. 91,000. 2004 Renault Clio 182. My favourite Clio, my favourite shape. I think probably the best of the Clios. Let's have a look. It's now over 20 years old. I've stepped inside to get out of the way of the racing. Typically, the racing's just stopped momentarily, but this is the worst part of this generation of Clio. It's not offensive, it's just that the seating position was always a bit high, and they're obviously very bare bones car, but the joy of them is the drive. And the joy of this one, for me, is the fact it's only done 23,000 miles. 23,000 mile car, wow, it's brilliant. Inferno orange, which looks really good actually. Grey and Alcantara perforated Renaultsport seats here. Normally, the wear and tear on French cars of this era inside is terrible, but this actually looks really good. This door handle is the only thing that's sticky, and that will be generic to all Clios. So again, that stuff's not Renaultsport, and that stuff's cheap. What attracts me to these is because if you've ever driven one, you know that they're so addictive. They're small, they're peppy, 2 litre 16 valve, tons of power, 180 horse or 182 PS, hence the name. No reserve, 6 to 8,000 pounds. Now you can get them cheaper, obviously, but for this kind of age, that's phenomenal. And these are stone cold classics. Stone cold hot hatch performance classics with a half decent boot, so they've got a level of everyday practicality about them. Loads have been made into track day cars, but this one is absolutely factory. It says it's been stored for a number of years, so a routine service would be advisable. It's supplied with its original stamped service book showing 3 services and no former keepers, so it's a one-owner car. How cool's that? Love it. I've noticed a bit of a pattern at this particular CCA iconic auction. There's a lot of really low mileage cars, or there's a lot of really long-term ownership cars. And this Escort RS Cosworth Lux 1993 lot 726 is one of the cars that's been owned for a really, really long time. This one has had the same owner for 29 years. Really good history. And they only made 2,500 of the big turbo homologation cars, which this is. Bought it at 2 years old, apparently, showing 2 former keepers at the time. in the Imperial Blue that everyone seems to like. I mean, the values of these have been really buoyant. There's a couple of them actually in this auction. There's another one, 724, which I'll pass through when I see it. It's there actually, it's just there. This one here is guided, estimated 50 to 60,000 pounds, but obviously the low ownership works in its favour. The originality works in its favour. Bodily, it looked amazing up until this point. There's a massive panel gap on the boot lid here. Just, it's quite ill-fitting, and I don't entirely know why. There's some lifting of the paint on this lower part of the double spoiler. But let's go inside, because it's the Lux pack, it's got extra Lux in here. So inside, what does the Lux mean? Well, I didn't know this, you see. So the Lux pack means electrically operated and heated door mirrors, quick clear heated windscreen, which was a Ford patent, I'm pretty sure. Heated washer jets, leather covered 3-spoke steering wheel, rear central armrest, electric sunroof, electric windows, and this particular car's got rear optional air conditioning and the 2040, is it? Yeah, the 2040 CD player right here. Very, very cool, that. What I would say about Escort Cosworths is I've thought that the Sierras have just plateaued off in value and the Escorts are just coming on even further. They are now 100 grand cars in flawless condition. There's a little bit of wear on this seat, reflected by the fact it's done 88,500 miles. So it has been used, but it does look very good. I just want to check the fitment of that boot lid and what's going on there. But there's a few of these, I think there's 3 in the CCA auctions. The values are very, very strong. Me personally, I prefer a VW or a Vauxhall of this era, personally, but that's just me. If it's quite difficult for you to hear, it is frustrating because there's some great cars, a huge variety of cars on track today, but the auction is there, look. So if you come to the Silverstone Festival, you get to see and hear everything. But for the purposes of this video, it's just a bit tricky, so I apologise. The ultimate wedge for me, and the ultimate colour combination of the wedge. There's one of these Lotus Esprits on sale inside through Iconic, but this CCA one here, this is a 1978 car, but you know I was talking about long ownership. This car has been in the same hands for 38 years and it's done 50,000 miles. Best to me, the staggered combination of wheel, that design of wheel to me is just so good, and the gold and the black is just chef's kiss. But get in, there's some crushed velvet, we must look at it before these cars come and you won't be able to hear what I'm saying. I love the LOTUS on the back. World champion car constructors, 78, 70, 72, 73, 68, 65. They put all of their F1 accolades on a badge, and I love that about it. I've really grown to like these, even though once you see that they've got SD1 Rover rear light clusters, you won't unsee it, but I kind of don't care anymore because the SD1's cool anyway. It's got a hilariously chody handbrake on the right hand side down here, but I really think this stuff, and I said it before, it's coming into its own now. It's been in the doldrums for ages, but I think people are realising that these are such fun cars to look at, they're interesting to drive. Yeah, the build quality wasn't amazing, and certainly 40 odd years later, still not amazing, but hey, there's a simplicity to them, and Lotus, they were cool then. They were very cool then. Lotus still is cool, especially if you want a car that has feel and, you know, analog response. So this one in particular, estimated 22 to 26,000 quid. And this one, like I say, has been in ownership for a really, really long time. It's got the 160 horsepower 2 litre engine behind me, the Type 907. It's actually got a Citroen C35 5-speed gearbox. I don't know if that's what the gearbox it had in period. I'd have to look that up because my knowledge of Loti is not huge. 50,000 miles, considering in Lotus miles, that's a lot of miles. The dash and everything and the upholstery is really, really rather good. In fact, the bodywork looks fantastic. This particular car has had a big cam belt service and a new MOT very recently, so that bodes very well. Oh, it's rare to find an early car that remains unrestored. This has not been restored. Bravo to that. Yeah. So, I don't know, 7 years ago, this would have been an 8-9 grand car. Now, 22 to 26, still really good value considering what you're getting. But obviously, it's not going to be German build quality, but it has a 70s flamboyance and a very Britishness to it. And I think that's coming into its own now. And I love that. I love it. Surprisingly comfortable once you're in. This 618 BMW E9, I think they're E9, 3-litre CSA, older restoration, but it still looks wonderful. Right-hand drive car, making it rare. Auto, making it slightly less desirable, but hey, look, it's a wonderful thing. Estimated 28 to 36,000. It's still one of the best looking cars, the thinnest of pillars. And a really, really radiant gold that you wouldn't get away with a modern car, but an older car just looks wonderful. Anyway, 613. I have the key to this Golf GTi Mark II, my favourite GTi all-rounder really. The build quality of these is just to die for. 3-door, 8-valve, and this car is stunning. Very, very low mileage, 2 owners. It's getting loud, let's get in. I know there's lots of hot hatches on this particular auction, and people get cross when they watch these previews because they go, why didn't you cover that? Why didn't you cover that? We can't cover them all. We've got to turn the video around as quick as possible so that you can potentially bid on it or come to the Silverstone Festival. But I love a Mark II GTi, and this one's done 46,900 miles. Yes, they're not really, really quick, but they're such a good all-round car. It's only 110 horsepower or something, the 1.8 engine. Tornado red, tartan inside. This is original, unmodified. It got returned to the road after being laid up from 2001 until May of this year. That explains why it's in this condition. And I have had an almost identical car, a black one, with a sunroof, manual sunroof, and that was the only option. And I loved it. Such a satisfying car to drive. And again, if you want a classic car that you can genuinely use a lot, enjoy it, cherish it, and it doesn't cost the world to insure or get parts for, this is definitely up there. This could be had for 14 to 18, which I guess reflects that low mileage and the great condition. Still one of the best VW keys of all time. Do you remember Series 11, Episode 3 of a show called Top Gear? Well, if you do, this will make sense. This is Minty, the Alfa Romeo 75. V6 3-litre Veloce, as driven by Jeremy Clarkson. I've actually never met Jeremy Clarkson, I don't know why. My podcast partner's worked with him for 25 years, still haven't met him. Anyway, this car is very rare because most of the Top Gear action cars either got destroyed or put on display in museums. This has gone into private ownership, and it still has all of the remnants of the Skoda Fabia, I think it was Fabia green that Clarkson loves so much. And this actually survived to tell the tale. I think it looks worse than it actually is. It is on the button and on the road, and like I say, leather interior, 3-litre Veloce, rare car in the UK now. It's a 1989 car. So this thing is estimated at 12 to 15 grand, and Top Gear action cars aren't in private hands very often, so it's going to be interesting to see who might want to buy this car. I'm going inside. The person that bought it off Top Gear's production company has had it for the last 11 years or more. They've actually got spare panels if you wanted to make it into a really good condition car again. I'm not sure what the point of that would be, because its provenance in being an ex-Top Gear car is really where it's at. It's also had quite a lot of engine work in that time, 4.5 grand's worth. Cam belt service, rebuilt gearbox, new clutch, because that went on the way to Festival of the Unexceptional. I love the post-it. Please do no touch gear stick. I don't know if that was Italian accent. Please do no touch. Sunroof, baggy headlining, of course. So rare, tutty, but with Clarkson and Top Gear connections. What's it going to make? Who's going to buy it? Lot 655. I'm going to follow this one with fascination. I love the handbrake. Love the handbrake. This is not typically my kind of car, but you can't ignore, with lot 675, the attraction of a 25,000 mile old Maserati that's 23 years old. Right-hand drive, Spider, Ferrari V8 and Giugiaro styling for drum roll, estimate of 14 to 18,000 quid. That is value, right? This car is really immaculate. It looks really good. It's hard to deny the value of a Maserati. It's almost cruelly cheap. E46 M3, my favourite M3. I've said that many times before. Still looks so good. This particular example is really interesting because the vendor is a chap who is an engineering director with a background in building concourse-winning magazine-featured cars, and he decided in 2021 to buy one of these with the goal of creating a vehicle to the exact original factory specification and arguably better condition than new. He has gone absolutely to town on this thing. Over 1,500 hours of labour, engine, chassis, bodywork rebuild, fully documented throughout. It's just amazing. Still 3.2 straight six, 338 horsepower, manual, but I mean, wow. Everywhere I look, we can't show all the detail of this car, but everywhere you look, that's why it's scored 135 out of 135 points on the seller rating. Wow. Prior to the rebuild, the car was stripped down completely, floor was reinforced, and the entire body resprayed in original titanium silver by a BMW specialist. Photographic log of the restoration. Right, so my question to you is this. If this car sells for 30 to 40,000 quid, you couldn't build that for 30 to 40 grand, including buying a base car. But if this sells for, I don't know, the bottom end of that, 30, that's around about the same money that they reckon this could go for, 24 to 28 grand. And what you're looking at here is a totally different car, obviously, completely different beast. What I love about this is, unlike that's been restored to within an inch of its life. This has never been restored. This is an original 2.8 injection Mark III, Cardinal Green, 50,000 mile Capri. Lot 729. This is the great thing about these auctions. There's so many different cars to tempt you. And I like seeing cars that I would ordinarily have no interest in, but I look at the condition of them and I look at the story and I think, oh, could I see myself with that? It's just brilliant. What a survivor. Okay, two hot hatches from the 80s, one's black, one's white. Let's start with this one, 659. The reason why I love this, aside from the fact that it's a Mark I Golf GTi, is the fact that it's a 1979 Mark I Golf GTi, and that was the first year of right-hand drive. And I think these are now classed as the swallowtail, they're called at the back. This is a rare car now. I regret a few cars that I haven't bought, and one of them was a 79, one of these. I found it in London. This car is immaculate. It's been fully restored over 2 years, starting in about 2019. This thing is gorgeous. 91,000 on the clock, but you'd never know it. 25 to 30 grand, but that is collector grade car. And so is this. 680. First generation XR2, circular headlights. 1983, and the person that's owned this has had it for 33 years, and they've really gone to town on it. So same family from new, and they spent 18 grand on the paint job apparently, which has just completely blown me away. Completely blown me away. 18 grand on a white, non-metallic, non-pearl paintwork. But again, this is a collector grade car, 22 to 26,000 pounds, 64,000 miles on the clock. And the fast Ford tax is so strong. But will it sell for that kind of money? I mean, it is a joy to look at. Sort of grey pinstripe interior. You forget how basic early XR2 interiors are. They are basic, really basic. What else can I tell you about this particular car? Well, reassembled by the owner, who's a time-served professional mechanic, and I think they've been fanatical with it, and that's why it is like this. I don't know if this is the original sunroof. It seems to be recessed in, so I'm going to say it probably is the original sunroof. But yeah, you pays your money, it makes your choice. 80s hot hatches continue to be really popular. Really, really popular. There's loads here. Loads. And 90s hot hatches too. And then you've got the naughty stuff like the Clio 182 creeping in there. And I even saw a Saxo as well earlier. So this concludes my whistle-stop tour of the classic car auctions that are taking place. Remember also, my friend Harry Metcalf has done a preview of the iconic auctions cars. So this is a big 3-day sale, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You don't have to be here in person. You can watch the whole thing being streamed, live streamed, and you can register and bid online if you want to, if you can't make the Silverstone Festival. Watch Harry's preview of the iconic cars, like that right-hand drive early Countach, and like that lovely patinated Porsche Speedster. But thanks for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love you to subscribe and let me know the cars that you've seen that you fancy, and or if you've bid and bought one after the auction. Thank you.